The Cellar. It was 2013, and a young 21-year-old Canadian student named Elisa decided to travel across the US. This is something that she had wanted to do for some time, and in a lot of ways, this was Elisa's first time going out on her own, without her parents. Being 21, she wanted to see the world, and so on January 26th of 2013, she would board a flight from Vancouver, British Columbia, to the sunny state of California. She would first arrive in San Diego, where she would spend her first few days before taking a train to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. After arriving in Los Angeles, Elisa would check herself into the infamous Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel is set in the heart of downtown LA. Some floors in the hotel cater to everyday travelers like Elisa herself, while other floors would cater to short and long-term guests, primarily those that lived in the notorious Skid Row area. The Cecil Hotel itself has had a long and shady reputation, being that it was the scene of numerous suicides, overdoses, as well as the home of the notorious serial killer, Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, the Walk-In Killer, and the Valley Intruder, was an American serial killer and sex offender. His crime spree would run from 1984 to 1985 in California, where it's believed that he killed 13 people. He was eventually captured, convicted, and sentenced to death. But in 2013, before the death penalty could be carried out, Ramirez would die due to complications from B-cell lymphoma, a form of blood cancer. I plan to dive further into Richard Ramirez and his reign of terror on a future episode on the channel. So that brings us back to January 28th of 2013, when Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel. She was originally staying in a hostel-style room with other guests. For those that don't know what a hostel is typically a low-cost and shared form of lodging. Guests typically rent a bed while sharing a lounge area and sometimes a kitchen with other roommates. It would not take long before Elisa's roommates started complaining to the hotel of odd behavior with Elisa. From reports, she was acting erratic and causing a constant disturbance amongst the guests that she was sharing the room with. The hotel would swiftly step in and give Elisa her own room. But this would only be the beginning of the erratic and bizarre behavior. January 31st, 2013. After staying at the Cecil Hotel for a handful of days, this was to be Elisa's final day. Her checkout was to be the subsequent morning. She proceeded to phone her parents like she had done every other day on this trip. She would then head out to visit a bookstore known as the Last Bookstore. After looking at the map, this bookstore was located about 0.3 miles from the hotel, a roughly 8-minute walk in total. After returning to the hotel, the real mystery would begin. At 2:30 p.m. that afternoon, Elisa is seen on camera leaving the elevator lift. Her actions from this point on are anything but normal. The footage I'm about to show you all is the last time 21-year-old Elisa Lam would ever be seen alive. As you can see in the footage, the elevators don't close for Elisa. Why were they not closing? That's always been open to a lot of heated debate. Some believe that spirits from the hotel's dark past had a hand in what was happening with her, while others believe someone else was outside the elevator, potentially messing with her. At the same time, Elisa was a young woman who was struggling with bipolar disorder. There's a belief from law enforcement that she had stopped taking her meds and may have been experiencing some sort of manic-like episode during this time. Whatever the answer may be, the footage of Elisa is harrowing to watch. After not hearing from their daughter for multiple days, Elisa's parents would report her missing with the Los Angeles Police Department. They would hop on a flight to LA for a press conference on February 6, 2013. The hotel would be searched extensively, from top to bottom, but no sign of Elisa was found. All her belongings were found to have been left behind in her room, while no hotel worker had remembered seeing Elisa leave the hotel. To even further add to the mystery, no cameras within the hotel would capture Elisa leaving the property. The footage of her in that elevator was all that was left. It was like Elisa had just vanished. But how does someone simply vanish without a trace? Over the following days, the LAPD would recover and then release the elevator footage for the public to view. This footage led to numerous theories and ideas amongst online sleuths. As more and more people were drawn into the case, the ideas surrounding Elisa's disappearance would get more and more bizarre. But ultimately, it wouldn't take too long before we finally got some answers. In the subsequent days after Elisa's disappearance, guests within the Cecil Hotel would begin complaining of low water pressure, along with an awful smell and discoloration in the hotel's water supply. Some reports came in that the water had turned brown, smelled horrible, and had unknown particles floating within it. The hotel would soon have to take action, and they proceeded to send Santiago Lopez, the hotel's maintenance worker, to go investigate the water tanks, which reside on the roof of the building. When Santiago made it to the roof, he discovered that one of the hatches was propped open on one of the water tanks. He would proceed to climb up to check inside. Upon glancing in, he made a horrifying discovery. There he found the decomposing body of Elisa Lam, floating naked and face down in the water. Elisa had finally been found. But what happened? How did a young 21-year-old woman end up dead in a water tank on the rooftop of the Cecil Hotel? June 20th, 2013, the coroners would officially declare a finding of accidental drowning in the death of Elisa Lam. Even with this answer, there are still so many mysteries to speculate on. Did Elisa climb into the tank herself? Did someone coerce her or throw her in? At the end of the day, we just don't have any definitive answers to any of these questions. The police ruled her case accidental. Her toxicology report would come back, and it showed low amounts of her bipolar medication, leading the police to believe that a manic episode led to her climbing into the water tank. They believe she was not thinking clearly and that she found a way onto the roof and simply climbed in. After entering the tank, she would eventually come to a realization that the water level was not high enough for her to reach the hatch opening. At some point, her clothing would come off. It's believed that she may have taken it off so that it wouldn't weigh her down. Now, there are other theories. Perhaps someone put her in the tank, or potentially coerced her into the tank. I myself could see this as a possibility. I struggled to see her putting herself into the tank on her own. But could I see a man, potentially a man who had shown interest in her, talking her into going for a dip on the rooftop of the hotel? I don't believe it can ultimately be ruled out, but we just don't have anything else to go on with the case. What I do know at the end of the day is that no one should have to suffer such a horrible fate. Floating in a tank of water and coming to a realization that there's no way to get out. Just waiting there until your body gives in from pure exhaustion or hypothermia. I wouldn't wish such an end on anyone. As always, my condolences go out to Elisa Lam and her entire family. If you enjoyed learning about this story and want to dive more into the case of Elisa Lam, I highly recommend you check out the Netflix true crime documentary, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Now, I would love to know what each and every one of you think, so please take the time to leave a comment below and share your thoughts on the story. If you're enjoying the content I make, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel continue to grow. For those of you that are interested, I have a Cellar Dwellers membership tier for the channel. It's $2.99 a month and comes with some pretty cool perks, so if that interests you, then please go check it out. I also have that linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything that you do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you all again as we head back into the cellar.